Hello, my name is George, and I would like to talk to you about my new album coming out on June 19th. Um, like I did with my last album, I would like to talk about some of the conceptual ideas, but also some of the musical concepts that became this album. So I'm going to start with the main premise, which is I love concept albums because I am not that interesting of a person. And I will admit, on this very day right now, I do want to make songs that are very much just anything. And make a song about anything and make a song about stuff that interests me, like, I don't know, sharks. Even though sharks don't really interest me, but yeah. But this is the second part of the newest trilogy of concept albums that I'm making. So, my last album ended with the words, and in all this doing, I came to realize that I didn't go to heaven. And I thought, okay, let me take this concept of I got really obsessed with Evil Dead 2. It's one of my favorite horror movies ever. But um, there's a scene, of course, at the end of Evil Dead 2 where he's going through the portal and eventually it leads into Army of Darkness. I thought, how interesting of a concept would it be if he sacrifices himself, he sees the light, he goes completely blind, but then he's teleported to this dusty little universe kind of country town like the uh, western place in Back to the Future 3. And I thought, okay, that's a good premise, that's a good concept. And eventually it came into um I have to continue this concept. So it was basically um I've been an atheist since I was born, and but still religion has interested me. So I thought, okay, what if I make this concept of um there is a heaven, but it's called Haven Town. And then what if I make there's another place called Heaven, but it is called Heaven Town. And the first 10 tracks of the album, the first side of the album, is him landing in a place called Heaven Town. And um, being in a place where it is very much like heaven, such as there is a God and everyone listens to what this God says and everything like that. Of course, if anyone's asking, this is again conceptually a critique on capitalism and the uprising dictatorship in America. But in a census, that was my main concept. That was my main idea that I want to do. And then, of course, the B side of the album, Haven Town, was about him going to a place that felt more like heaven of what was described when he was living, of God is a great person who is not this almighty human, and he sits down with you, has a conversation, talks to you about his troubles and everything like that, or your troubles, and it feels like a genuine relationship with God. But how this album started was I knew that I wanted to make a not long, but I knew that I wanted to make like another 20 track album because I love doing it. And how I started making this 20 track album was there's a preset that I have on my guitar amp thing. And I thought, okay, let me do that. So I got onto the on my main electric guitar, went to the last fret, and said, let me just pluck and see what this sounds like. And that's how it became to be. And I was like, okay, let me make like a Godspeed You Black Emperor song. So I ended up making a 21-minute song. And then I basically did the same thing for the B side of the album and said, let me make another 21 minute song. So, in a sense, I already had a 42-minute album that comprised of 8 tracks. And I was like, okay, let me make 12 tracks that are very poppy and are very into it, and people can just vibe and be very interested. And that's why the first track of the album starts off like a Alice in Chains album, or a kind of album that just like punches you in the face, and you're just like, whoa, okay, there we go. Um, and it's not going to be hard to believe if you listen to the whole album, but especially the last track on the on the A side, I really got into Ween, and I was just listening to so much Ween, um, over and over and over again. I've listened to Ween for ages. Chocolate and Cheese is one of my favorite albums ever. But I decided, let me completely nosedive into Ween. And eventually, of course, I came across their country album that they made, their more psychedelic stuff, their first album that has um, the acronym song on it. Um, and eventually I was like, okay, I want to make music like Ween. They fit in this criteria of pop sounding music that sounds experimental, has like a psychedelic concept to it, which I wanted to make something psychedelic or psychedelia because I was making an album about a man teleporting or transporting to another universe. And the last track on the A side of the album is basically him teleporting or driving away and going to a different heaven. So I was like, okay, let me do that whole thing of it. Um, but to go back to the ambient thing, I was like landed on this spot of I had this 21-minute song, like it was just like one file, and I said, what if I just cut it up into 4 parts of um, it's like 6 minutes each track. Like it's not. That's a really bad math, but um, yeah. So I wanted it to be like that, but also on the original file I had for that 21-minute song, it was the wave forms on it had these little silence spots. So it was very much like, okay, here's a silent spot. Bam, let's cut it. Let's put it into a different folder. And then I did that over and over and again. And eventually it became Heaven and Haven, the 4 parts of it. Um, but yeah, I got into a lot of Ween, and I said, okay, how do I make a Ween album, but not make a Ween album and bring this little conceptual thing into it? And that's where I got obsessed with Chocolate and Cheese, because the first track on Chocolate and Cheese, the album cover for Chocolate and Cheese, I don't think it makes you assume you're going to listen to like a comedy album, but like their logo and the woman that's showing half cleavage, not half cleavage, but like showing half boob and wearing like a crop top and stuff like that. Um, I thought, okay, if you look at this album cover, does it have this little criteria of like, oh, where I'm gonna listen to something funny? But eventually, the first track on Chocolate and Cheese sounds nothing like a comedic track, and it again, as I said, it just punches you in the face. And I thought, okay, let's do something like that. The track is "Take Me Away," and I thought, okay, let's do something like that. Just punch you in the face, bang, bang, bang. Have a little bridge part where I actually bring in some vocals, do some psychedelic stuff, put some echo and some reverb and some weird little effects on drums and everything. And it will eventually become something like that. And that's why, as well, eventually I bring in, I think it's Jimmy and Timmy, even though it wasn't supposed to be a South Park reference. My name, how does it go? I think it's my name's Jimmy and I hate that motherfucker. I think it is Timmy. So that's where Army Apricot Alien comes into it, and actor Amber Alien comes into it. As I said, what if I have these like two characters um, that are aliens, and one of them's a good alien, one of them's a bad alien, and then that's where I said, okay, Ween's got this logo. What if I try to make this logo look more, I guess, alien like, and try to make it more, I don't know, cartoonish or more funny looking? And that's how I came up with my logo. I don't know if I want to call it Jimmy or Timmy. I think it's just a combination of both of them. Um, but yeah, um, so that's how that came around. Um, um, some of the uh, uh, what was it? The oh, some of the like single covers, not that hard to come up with, but eventually the um, what was it? The font for the album, so that someone can use the font if they want to. The font for the album is, or the font for the single stuff is Chanel's Decorative. Chanel, Cinzel, Decorative, and yeah, and sometimes I like it in bold, sometimes I don't, but yeah, that's where I landed on that. I don't know how I landed on New Heaven Old Town because I could have called it like New Heaven New Haven, but that sounds a little bit fucking stupid. Um, and there's maybe an album that has something like Old Town in it. Um, oh, okay. So this is what I do for all of my music is I make a um playlist of music that I want my album or singular songs to sound like. So, one of my favorite artists' albums of all time, of course, is Steve Lacy, and of course his album Jim and I Writes was so great. I remember when the album came out, I was like, "Oh yes, I've got a new album." And Helmet, Mercury, Sunshine, Give You the World, which is so underrated, was such a big thing for me as well. But specifically Mercury, because I think a lot of effort goes into Mercury and how he changes the tempo, eventually changes some of the instruments and things like that. I thought, okay, I can make something like that. That's really good. But I started getting into a lot of Mac DeMarco as well. I've been listening to Mac DeMarco for years, like every other person. But I like stuff like Bones Ah and stuff like Robson Girl. Um, I thought, okay, and stuff like A Heart Like Hers. Um, I'm a Man, Blue Boy was really specific as well. Um, Treat Her Better, Go Easy, so stuff like that. I was listening to some Mouths High Club, listening to like very minor Tame Impala. Sundown Syndrome is my favorite Tame Impala song, so of course I was listening to that over and over again. Um, and then a bunch of Ween, and I'm gonna mention every single Ween song. Take Me Away, Freedom of 76, Mr. Would You Please Help Me My Pony, which was major for me. I was like, how the fuck do I make a song like Mr. Please Help My Pony? Like, can it be like, the album's supposed to be set in the West, but for some random reason I have like a sports car so I can drive away from these people. So like, should I make like an intermission of me getting like pulled over by like a cop and like a horse and carriage and being like, please sir, can you help me, like my tire came off my car or something? But I thought that was too stupid. um um so yeah, Joba Road, super big. That's where Rennie's Road and Red Sea Road come from. Also, for anyone listening to this, if you want to know any lore, I do need to pull up what song it is. But what song is it? Oh no, no, no! It's, I think it's at the end of Actor Amber Alien. I think it is. I think it's at the end of Actor Ember Alien, but it might be the end of. Let me see. So it's at the beginning, or it's at the. It's on the A side. I think it's Army Apricot Alien. Um, there's a spaceship sound at the end, or like the sound of like a UFO, and that sound is from the Simpsons Hit and Run game, because um I make a lot of my music in advance. Gray Reflection, started working on that album in like 2021, 2022. The Black Mountain concept started in like 2022. There's actually like music on there that I made when I was like 17. The little interlude stuff in there. You can hear like some like stuff from an amp that I made when I was like 17. But I've been making this for so long. Of course, Jane Remover released her new album. So of course I was checking out samples and stuff like that, and I found out that she would use a lot of uh, like sound effects. She wouldn't use a lot of samples. She would use a lot of sound effects. So of course, um, um, not to quote John Lennon, but I am a loser, and I love Lego video games. So I downloaded a Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga um, uh, uh, sound pack, and also I downloaded a Sneeze sound pack from like a video game, and I put it on. Um, I put the one of the sounds. I think it was the Droid Fighter laser sound. I have it like pulled up here. Um, but also I have like a power up sound. put them on God's Country. By the way, God's Country. I wanted to release some songs that weren't related to the album, but just some music that I've wanted to make for a real long time. So of course, God's Country. Um, John inspiration is Window Liquor by Aphex Twin. I've been listening to more Aphex Twin recently. One of my favorite songs by him is Milkman. I fucking love it. Um, but also God's Country. Um, of course, of course, YouTube doesn't like people saying specific words, so of course I'm not going to say it. But I'm not monetized. Who the hell cares? But on uh, cock/ver 10 on Drooks, there's a part and it says, um, he says, come on, you, let's do some Aphex Acid. And I said, oh, let me put that into a song. So of course, then eventually I have Shut Up You Stupid. And I tried making my like mom and dad and my sister to like do a harmony for it and like remix it that way, but of course I couldn't get them to. But but yeah, that's how that song came around. Of course, God's Country is based on Morgan Wallen's bitch ass. For any single person that hates country music, don't hate country music. Just hate some of the annoying people that make country music. Um, not listen, listen to Johnny Cash. Listen to Towns Van Zandt. Uh, listen to other country artists that you should love. Listen to artists that don't typically make um, country music, and they probably make better country music than a majority of people's whole career that's based in country. Listen to the best country album of all time, The Magnolia Electric Company by Songs Ohio. Listen to Silver Jews. Listen to John Prine's debut or self-titled. I don't know if it's his debut, but I know it's self-titled. Listen to that kind of stuff. Listen to more Willie Nelson. If anyone needs advice for Willie Nelson, um, the best my favorite album by Willie Nelson is Red-Headed Stranger. Um, and just chill back, listen to some of his songs. Um, you'd be perfectly fine. Um, so yeah, that's the thing to do in life. If you hate country music like I do, chill back. Listen to some MJ Lenderman. I know it's not really country, but of course he's a local man of mine, and I haven't seen him in concert yet, and I kind of want to. But yeah, listen to Emmylou Harris. What a great album that is. Listen to Bonnie Prince Billy. He has an Amoeba Records video. Their Love, his like choices out of that are so good. I think oh what was it? Oh, what was the band? Viagra Boys were in Amoeba Records recently. One of my favorites. Um, so yeah, anyone that hates country music, Lucinda Williams, Cars, Wheels on Gravel Road. Listen to stuff like that. Okay, my father hates country music. I tried getting my dad to even listen to stuff like um um Willie Nelson and uh Magnolia Electric Company and stuff like that, and he still doesn't really like it. Um, but yeah, try to listen to stuff like that. But um, not to final this out because I still have stuff to talk about from this album. But among his people and upon his nation, two songs I really wanted to make. Again, I was trying to make not. I feel like I was trying to make Black Country New Road songs. Um, there are times where I feel like I'm like, okay, I'm doing too much electric. Let me non Bob Dylan this shit up, and let me go back to the folk festival and let me put some acoustic on here. And I end up doing it, and I'm very happy about it. So I wanted, of course, um, among his people, to be, of course, the song about a real God, and of course, um, uh, upon his nation, to be the other one. Also, again, I think it's Heaven Part 4. At the end of Heaven Part 4, I did something that I didn't even realize I did. I re-listened to the album about 2 weeks ago. There's a part on Heaven Part 4 where I start going Heaven, and I had not started watching Twin Peaks by then, but it does very much sound like a thing from Twin Peaks. Um, so that's a very nice thing. Also, just to give some advice in life, if any single person says, "Oh, I've been watching Twin Peaks," watch out. They might start becoming the most creative, amazing person on earth. Ethel Kane finding Twin Peaks and learning about Twin Peaks and loving Twin Peaks. One of the greatest musical things I've ever happened in history at all. Um, so yeah, Newtown. Again, I feel like promoting music is so hard. Um, I've been promoting Newtown probably for about 2 months now. I was like uploading TikToks promoting it before it was released. I've been uploading TikToks after it's released, and it's really hard because I love Newtown. It's maybe not my favorite song on the album, but when that lead comes in for the second chorus, I knew I was like, oh my god, I made a hit song. Like I made a song. Like I saw an interview recently of Kevin Abstract, and he was talking about Jack Antonoff, and Jack Antonoff gave him advice saying, or told Kevin, the best advice I can give you of if you're having trouble saying, oh, what single should I release? Is this the right single to release? Is this the right single? He said the advice that Jack gave him is this a song you want to perform for the rest of your life? Because if you release a single for an album, say you have a 12 track album, and you release 3 singles from that album, there's probably a high chance you're going to perform those 3 singles from that album. So, Newtown, I could perform that song every single day for the rest of my life, and I would be perfectly fine doing it. So I was very happy about that. Renee's Road, there's a little bridge part on it that I fucking love. I was very happy with that. Um, yeah, I was very happy with doing that. Take Me Away, of course, I love, but to get into the very last one that I want to talk about, I'm in the mood to move. So my dad knows how to play instruments. Like he's been playing guitar for 40 plus years. Um, and there's been very many times where I've been like, oh, okay, I'll get a preset for him, my tuning, tell him my tuning and stuff like that, and like maybe he can like write a lead on it. So this was kind of like a song I was making of just like I can make this so much more impressive, but I couldn't get my dad to play on the song. Um, so eventually it just became more and more of not the same thing, but it became more and more of okay, how can I make this sound more impressive? Um, so again, I'm in the mood to move was again my other try of let me try to make a hit song. Um, because I had Newtown, I was very happy with it. I had it's either what song is it? It's either Rennie's Road or I think I feel like Red Sea Road's more of like a hit, but like New Heaven or New Haven Old Town very much is like a very good opener for the album. I think that could be put into a lot of playlists of stuff like oh, listen to this heavy metal song or whatever like that, or listen to this alternative rock song. So I said, in the mood to move, let me try to make like a alternative psychedelia rock song, and there's a lot of like reversed guitars on it. The drumming changed a bunch. There's this little lead at the end where I add like some distortion and stuff like that. Um, I want to see if I play this, if this recording will stop. So let's see. Will it stop? No, it won't. Okay. Oh, also, I had vocals at the beginning of this, and I hated them. I sounded so flat, so I just took the vocals out of it. Had a lot of panning as well. But yeah, this last minute of I'm in the mood to move, I love it so much because I changed from electric to acoustic, but I still bring in my psychedelia stuff. And then my vocals come in. And I also put like a vocal effect on my vocals as well in the bottom. So yeah, I loved that track. That was my other chance or opportunity of just like, okay, I've got like a hit on my hands of it's like a I think it's under 4 minutes. I'm not 100% sure. Um, it might be a little bit over 4 minutes, but I was like, oh, okay, I've got this little. I was like, oh, okay, I've got this little song in my hands in which I can make another hit out of it because well, it's over 5 minutes, but yeah, who cares? But also, so I have the Haven tracks and the Heaven tracks on the B side, and that was my goal as well. Is if I have something like these ambient Haven tracks or Heaven tracks that can, I don't know, not to moist critical this stuff up, but I can tingle some ambient nerds balls. Um, then I can go into Stay Forever, which is 4 minutes and 40 seconds, and it still has this like again like psychedelia. Oh, this could possibly be a hit type of vibe. And then of course, um, Newtown is on the B side. So the other single I released, which is on the A side, is Heaven Town, which is much more the political type of thing of me trying to do some kind of Rage Against the Machine type of thing. So yeah, but mixing and mastering, very happy about it. Let's take a listen. Stay Forever. Of course, you're not gonna be able to hear it, thankfully, because it'll be very loud for you. But Oh yeah, I bring in this little. Do I? I think it just starts with acoustic. No, it sounds better on the album. I bring in that little distortion. Yeah, I'll have that little psychedelic thing. Okay. Yeah, I really like that track. It's really good. Um, yeah. I guess I don't really have anything else to say. I don't want to give everything away. Um, Even though I probably have, but I guess people can still listen to it. Have a nice little dangly dingleberry time. But yeah. Um, New Heaven Old Town out on June 19th. Um, Very happy about this. Gonna promote it even more after I release it. Get all my favorite tracks on streaming so I can post more stuff about it uh, if I have time. Make some music videos for some songs. Um, yeah, I don't. I haven't listened to the album in full for about a week now, so I can't really tell you what my favorite song is. Um, but just for promotion, I'm gonna say my favorite song is Newtown. That's my favorite song. Heaven Town, Heaven adores you, but this is a new town. Yeah, that's my favorite song of the album. Track 3 on the B side of New Heaven Old Town, releasing on June 19th. That is my favorite song. Um, but yeah, um, stream George Worth. This has been George, and thank you for listening if you did. Bye bye.